2 a.m. I was working the night shift at a convenience store. A Rolls-Royce suddenly pulled up to the entrance, and a man and woman got out, walking straight to the counter. I gave them a sweet smile and asked, "What can I get for you too?" The man frowned at me without speaking. Instead, the woman, with tears in her eyes, handed me a piece of paper. "Your name is Zoe Con, right?" I nodded expressionlessly. "Zoe, we are your biological parents." I looked down at the paper labeled paternity test and pushed it back with a smile. I think you must be mistaken. I'm an orphan. No father, no mother." Hearing this, the woman grew anxious to explain but was stopped by the man beside her. "Sorry to bother you, we might have made a mistake. What are you doing?" "I'm sure she's our daughter." Ignoring the woman's protests, the man pushed her into the car. Watching the car drive away, I put away my smile, crumpled the paternity test report in my hand, and threw it into the trash. I was reborn back to the day when Mr. and Mrs. Kong found me. Recalling my tragic death in my previous life, I trembled with hatred. In my past life, upon learning about this, I foolishly went home with them without a second thought, but I happened to run into Kira Kon, who was preparing to travel abroad. Mr. and Mrs. Kong, who had found their biological daughter, did not intend to send Kira Kon away but instead made her my younger sister, the second daughter of the Kong family. In front of our parents, Kira Kon was very affectionate toward me and kept happily saying that she now had an older sister. Touched by the heartwarming scene, I truly believed Kira Kon's words. Afterwards, her green tea-like behavior fooled our parents time and time again. This led to our parents growing increasingly dissatisfied with me. In the end, even when I was killed by Kira Kon, they never suspected her. Not a single tear was shed for my death. I remember it very clearly. In my previous life, because of my appearance, Kira Kon suddenly decided not to go abroad for vacation and spent the entire winter break with me. The long time we spent together made me trust her completely, and I treated her like my own younger sister. At that time, I had no idea that I had already fallen into her malicious scheme. This time, I decided to make arrangements in advance, leveraging the advantage of rebirth to take full control of everything. After finishing my last shift, I handed in my resignation to the boss. I knew my parents would come looking for me, so I had to avoid them. I would return to the Kong family, but not now. Sure enough, the next afternoon, Kong's mother called. I hung up immediately and texted her to stop harassing me, saying I still had work to do. With the Kong family's means, finding me would be all too easy. That night, while I was hiding in the restaurant's kitchen washing dishes, the boss suddenly called me into the storeroom. "Zoe, have you offended someone outside?" The boss, called Brother Jin, is a big bald guy who looks fierce but is actually very kind. "No, I haven't." As a girl, who could I have offended? I looked puzzled, not understanding what Brother Jin meant. Then Brother Jin pulled out a wad of cash from his pocket and said, "There are two rich guys outside who just threw me $2,000 to hand you over, and you still say you haven't offended anyone. You're being heavily bounted, Brother Jin. So, are you going to hand me over?" I asked timidly. Brother Jin stroked his chin, looking at me, then at the money in his hand. Finally, he let out a heavy sigh. Forget it. I won't take this unexpected windfall today. You hide in the storeroom. I'll go out and deal with them." Touched, I nodded and tugged at Brother Jin's sleeve, saying, "Thank you, Brother Jin. When I have money, I'll pay you back 20,000. Cut the crap. Hurry up and find an empty box to hide in. Those two guys have several men in black suits following them. I'm worried they'll come in searching." After Brother Jin left, I crouched in the innermost corner of the warehouse and covered myself with a cardboard box. About 5 or 6 minutes later, the warehouse door was indeed opened. I heard Brother Jin say loudly, "You two big spenders. Do you really think I'd lie to you?" The little girl really ran out the back door. "If you hurry now, you might still catch up with her." "Why is she running?" asked Mrs. Kong. "You'll have to ask them. I don't know why she's running either." Jin Ji replied with a laugh. Soon after the sound of hurried footsteps faded, the warehouse fell silent. Not long after, Jin Ji returned. "Come out, Zoe, they're gone." I walked out and saw Brother Jin looking at me with a face full of concern. "Zoe, those two don't seem like ordinary folks. Tell me, what did you do? Let me see if I can help you. Brother Jin's words touched me deeply. I smiled and shook my head. It's nothing, Brother Jin. They're my biological parents. I'm just avoiding them for a couple of days before going back. Yeah, right. Brother Jin rolled his eyes dramatically upon hearing this but didn't press further. Without the part-time job at the convenience store in the evening, I headed straight back to my rented apartment after work. But at the entrance of the alley I had to pass to get home, I spotted that familiar Rolls-Royce. If they're willing to wait, let them wait. I turned around and left, returning to the restaurant instead. Brother Jin has an empty staff dormitory here. I plan to crash here for the night, if I remember correctly. Kira Khan's flight is tomorrow morning. Once she leaves, it's time for me to return to the Kong family. I woke up the next day at noon. After getting up, I took out my phone and sent a message to Mother Kong. Where are you? Mother Kong replied quickly. I just got out of the airport. Zoe, you finally responded to me. Can we meet again? They must have just put Kira Khan on the plane. Sure, go straight to the city hospital. I want to confirm some things. Great. That's wonderful, Zoe. Dad and I will be waiting for you at the city hospital. Seeing her refer to herself as Mom and Dad, I couldn't be bothered to reply. Their distrust and indifference in my past life. I won't easily forget that. After telling Brother Jin about quitting my job, I mentioned I needed to go to the city hospital. Jin insisted on giving me a ride, and since I couldn't refuse him, I agreed. At the entrance of the city hospital, I had Jin park the car next to the Rolls-Royce. Zoe, don't tell me what you said yesterday was true. Before even getting out of the car, Brother Jin glared at me and asked. I shrugged and stepped out of the car. Brother Jin, don't leave yet. Wait for me a moment. After saying that, I turned to Kong's parents. Before they could speak, I extended my hand first. Can you lend me 20,000 yuan? The two of them froze for a moment, but under Kong's mother's signal, Kong's father still took out 20,000 in cash from his bag and handed it to me. Here you go, Zoe. No need to talk about borrowing. If you're short on money, just take it and spend it. Thank you. Taking the money, I turned around and tossed it into Jin's car. Under Jin's stunned gaze, I raised an eyebrow at him behind Kong's parents' backs. Brother Jin, I've returned the money I borrowed from you. You can go back now. After Brother Jin left, I turned to look at the two of them. Let's go for a paternity test. If the results prove that I have no relation to you, then please stop harassing me in the future. I'm a poor man and don't want to be associated with high-class people like you who treat money like dirt. Alright, this time, it was Mr. Kong who spoke. The power of money and connections is formidable. The test results were supposed to be available tomorrow, but with Mr. Kong's influence, they came out in just half an hour. Seeing the words confirmed biological parents on the report, I could only feign shock. You really are my biological parents? Yes, Mrs. Kong nodded excitedly, pulling me into a tight embrace. My child, you've suffered so much these years. Mom and Dad are so sorry. Mother Kong cried on my shoulder, and I managed to squeeze out a few forced tears. Zoe, can you come home with us now? Your mother and I will explain everything about how we lost you when we get back. Father Kong, who had maintained a stern expression throughout, finally showed a rare smile upon receiving the report. I remained silent for a moment before finally nodding under the gaze of the two of them. Returning to the familiar Kong family home, I felt a wave of emotion in my heart. Who would have thought that the heavens would favor me so much, granting me the chance to live another life? The two of them recounted the events of that year to me, and they came to know the truth because their former nanny, on her deathbed, had a crisis of conscience and told them about it. So, according to what you're saying, should the nanny's granddaughter be sent away? My words left the two of them momentarily speechless. After hemming and hawing for a while, Mrs. Kong finally came over and took my hand. Zoe, here's the thing. You are indeed our biological daughter, but Kira has grown up in this household and is also like a daughter to us. Over a decade of affection can't just be severed overnight. Besides, that wretched nanny is already dead, so, I understand. I smiled and interrupted Mrs. Kong. I was just asking casually. Having company is actually quite nice. Zoe, it's wonderful that you think this way. Mrs. Kong looked happily at Mr. Kong and said, See, I told you our daughter is a reasonable person. Mr. Kong visibly let out a sigh of relief, nodding slightly. As for Mrs. Kong, who has a simple mind, I didn't actually feel much resistance toward her, but Mr. Kong, the CEO of a major corporation, how could he not see through Kira Khan's petty schemes in the past life? So in reality, he tacitly allowed everything Kira Khan did to me. Perhaps in his eyes, only Kira Khan, whom he raised from childhood, is his real daughter. As for me, I'm merely a stranger who shares the Kong family bloodline. Since it was just after the Spring Festival, guests would occasionally visit the house. Every time someone came, I would take the initiative to pour tea for Father Kong and the guests. When guests hear me calling Mr. Kong Dad, they often ask, Mr. Kong, is this your daughter? She looks different. Mr. Kong looks at me with satisfaction, shaking his head with a smile. This is Zoe Kong, Kira's older sister. Due to certain circumstances, she wasn't with us when she was young and only recently returned. I was wondering why I'd never seen her before. Your eldest daughter seems lovely, so gentle and refined at such a young age, much like Mrs. Kong's temperament, and at first glance, her features bear some resemblance to both you and Mrs. Kong. Of course, she's our biological child after all. Haha, come, have some tea, try the tea my daughter brewed herself. Watching Father Kong laugh heartily, I found myself laughing along in my heart. Kira Khan would return in 15 days. When she comes back, I'll definitely give her a big surprise. I would work at Brother Jin's restaurant almost every holiday. Over time, through constant exposure, I picked up a few simple dishes. So every day when it's mealtime, I would cook together with our housekeeper, Auntie Wang. At first, Auntie Wang was a bit flattered, but after spending time together a few times, she gradually got used to it. Zoe, you should leave the cooking to Auntie Wang from now on. You're in the critical period of your senior year of high school. It's better to spend more time on your studies. At the dining table, Mother Kong said to me, "It's okay, Mom." I gave her a sweet smile. I don't have to work part-time now, so I have plenty of time to study. Besides, I love cooking for you and Dad. It's been my dream since I was little. Zoe, oh, my sweet baby. Sobs. The emotional Mrs. Kong started crying again, repeatedly apologizing to me. Mr. Kong's gaze grew even more tender as he piled the dishes I cooked into his bowl. Time flies by. There are only 3 days left until school starts. At noon today, Kira Khan rushed into the house in a flurry. I'm back. Kira's back. Did you have fun? Not at all. It was exhausting and boring. And those foreigners all smelled awful. I hated it. I was cooking in the kitchen when I heard the noise. My hands paused for a moment, and a faint, unnoticed smile curled at the corners of my lips. Here comes the dish, fragrant stir-fried lamb with scallions. Kira Khan was chatting animatedly with Kong's mother when I appeared by the dining table carrying the dish. It smells amazing. Zoe's cooking skills are getting better and better. Kong's mother happily walked over and leaned in close to me. Mom, can I have a little taste first? Of course. Here you go, Mom. After taking a bite of lamb, Mrs. Kong finally brought me to Kira Khan. Kira, let me introduce you. This is Zoe Khan. Your sister. Sister? Since when did I have a sister? Mom, did you do something to betray Dad when you were younger? What are you talking about? Kira, don't talk nonsense. I'll explain Zoe's matter to you later. Mother Kong's tone was serious, and her expression turned somewhat unpleasant. Hello, Kira. Mom and Dad have been talking about you a lot lately. You're even more beautiful than in the photos. I looked at Kira Khan, took out a handmade hair clip from my pocket, and handed it to her. This is a small gift I prepared for you. A crocheted hair clip I made myself. It may not be very valuable, but it's a token of my sincerity. I hope you'll accept it. What a piece of junk. So tacky. Wearing it would just lower my status. Kira Khan took the hair clip, glanced at it, and casually threw it into the trash bin. Seeing this, I hurried over to the bin and picked the hair clip back out. I'm sorry, Kira, I know this isn't good enough for you. When I have money in the future, I'll definitely get you something more valuable. Before I could finish, Kira's mother angrily pointed at her and scolded. Kira Khan, how could you do that? Your sister's gift was given with heartfelt sincerity. How could you just throw it away? Mom, are you scolding me? For an outsider, you're scolding me. Kira-kon pointed at me in disbelief as she questioned Mrs. Kong. What's wrong with scolding you? Was what you just did right? Before Mrs. Kong could speak, Mr. Kong's authoritative voice came from the study door. He had been standing there for a while, and he had seen everything. Kira-kon throwing the hairpin. Dad, even you are siding with this person. Who on earth is she? If you don't explain this clearly today, I'll never speak to you again. Watching Kira-kon sitting angrily on the sofa, I rubbed my already reddened eyes and said to Mother Kong, Mom, Aunt Wang still needs my help over there. I'll head over now, after speaking. I nodded slightly to Father Kong. Dad, I'm going. Go ahead, be careful and don't get hurt. Okay, got it, Dad. Before leaving, I glanced at Kira-kon. Seeing the person who had humiliated me to death again, I felt an unusual calm in my heart. At lunch, Kira-kon stayed hidden in the room and didn't come out. Dad, Mom, did you tell Kira the truth? Mother Kong sighed and nodded with a worried expression. This has hit Kira too hard, it's difficult for her to accept right now. I put down my chopsticks and pinched myself hard under the table, instantly reddening my eyes. Anyone would struggle to accept something like this. I understand how Kira feels. Dad, Mom, maybe I should move out, that way Kira might feel better, and we can just keep in touch regularly. No, Father Kong said coldly, adults need to learn to face reality. This is something she must go through, it has nothing to do with you. Zoe, you stay right here at home, you're not going anywhere. And I've already arranged for your school transfer. You'll directly switch to the private high school where Kira is when the semester starts, and there will be a driver to take you to and from school. Mrs. Kong chimed in as well. Yes, Zoe, your dad and I know you're sensible, but let's not talk about moving out anymore. Our family has finally reunited, and I don't want to be separated from you again. Millimeter, I bit my lip and nodded. Actually, I don't want to be apart from you and Dad either. Don't worry. I'll try to accommodate my sister from now on and avoid making her overthink things. Good girl, let's eat now. Mrs. Kong patted my head. From what I know of Kira-kon, upon learning she wasn't the real Kong family heiress, she would never just sit back and do nothing. Nor would she throw a tantrum like a madwoman. Sure enough, by dinner time, Kira-kon was sitting beside me with a smile. She kept calling me sister over and over, acting all affectionate. She even apologized to me, saying she had stolen my life and was willing to do anything to make it up to me. Looking at her tear-filled eyes and her desperate performance, I couldn't help but want to dump the food right on her face. Her current appearance is exactly the same as when I first returned to the Kong family in my past life. Mr. and Mrs. Kong were also fooled by her act, now looking at the two of us with satisfaction. Yet under the table, Kira-kon was gripping my hand tightly, her long nails almost digging into my flesh. Seeing that I didn't resist, she became even more aggressive. With a forceful swipe of her two thumbs, 2 fresh bloodstains immediately appeared on the back of my hand. Ah! I let out a startled cry, stood up to retreat, but tripped over the chair and fell to the ground. Zoe. Mrs. Kong ran over anxiously to help me up. Zoe, are you okay? Are you hurt anywhere? I raised both hands. The 2 bloodstains were clearly visible and had already begun to bleed. Oh dear, where did you bump yourself? Zoe, what's going on? Mr. Kong also came over, frowning as he asked, This is, I hesitated, my gaze shifting to Kira-kon's hand. Kong's parents also followed my gaze. Seeing this, Kira-kon quickly hid her hands behind her back. Father Kong stepped forward, grabbed Kira-kon's hand, and when he saw the faint traces of blood still on her nails, he snorted coldly, flung her hand away, and turned to walk toward the study. Kira, come with me. Oh, Kira-kon got up and followed, passing by me. While Kong's mother wasn't looking, she shot me a fierce glare. I sneered inwardly. This bitchy green tea, the real fun is just beginning. If I can't outplay you in this second life, I'd be wasting the heavens' kindness. I don't know what Father Kong said to Kira-kon, but it's easy to guess. At most, it was just some earnest persuasion. How could Father Kong bear to truly blame Kira-kon? Just like in my past life, Father Kong transferred me to the elite private high school where Kira-kon was enrolled. Today is the first day of school. The driver took Kira-kon and me to school by car. Before we left, Kira-kon's mother kept reminding her to take good care of me. Kira-kon raised her hand in promise, but I sneered inwardly. In my previous life, going to school was the beginning of my nightmare, for the first half-month after enrollment. Kira-kon didn't do anything to me, just deliberately avoided me, isolated me, and tried to humiliate me. Her behavior actually suited my wishes. I didn't have time to deal with her now, I just wanted to focus on reviewing my studies. Relying on my memories from the previous life's college entrance exam, I'm confident I can get into the university I want this time. This is crucial. It will determine my future fate. Half a month later, the impatient Kira-kon finally began to take action. During the first self-study session that afternoon, the classroom was filled only with the sounds of pages turning and pens writing. A girl suddenly started crying. "Woo-woo, my review materials are gone. Has anyone seen them?" Most people in the classroom ignored her. Only the class monitor went over to ask what was wrong. I just glanced up at the girl before lowering my head to continue studying. "When was the last time you saw the materials? Do you remember?" the class monitor asked. The girl sobbed. "They were still there when school ended at noon. I put them in my desk, but now I can't find them no matter how hard I look." Frowning, the class monitor walked up to the podium, knocked on the desk, and asked loudly, "Classmates, please cooperate. Everyone check your belongings to see if anyone might have taken them by mistake." Someone casually flipped through their desk and shook their head, saying they didn't have them. More people remained indifferent and continued studying. Not bothering to waste their time, the class monitor's expression darkened as he scanned the room, finally settling his gaze on me. "Here it comes. This Kira-kon's lackey is about to start performing. Classmate Zoe-kon, why don't you check your belongings?" "I don't have time, I didn't even look up," replying coldly. "What kind of attitude is that? Move aside, I need to check your desk." The class monitor walked over to me and gave me a hard shove. I wasn't about to indulge her. Pushing back, she let out a startled cry and landed flat on her butt. Joke's on her. Did she really think I spent all that time with Brother Jin for nothing? I can carry 2 cases of 9-bottle beer at once. The commotion I caused drew the attention of all my classmates, who looked at me in surprise. For the past 2 weeks, I've barely interacted with my classmates, so they probably thought I was introverted and weak. "Zoe-kon, how could you push someone?" The class monitor stood up, her face flushed. "Don't you know how to behave, or were you raised without parents to teach you manners?" The class monitor's words were truly vicious. I've never told any classmates about my identity, so it's obvious how the class monitor found out. Kira-kon was sitting not far away, a sinister smile on her face. "Whether I have manners or not is irrelevant. What matters is, anyone who dares to mess with me will face my wrath. Her information isn't with me, so go do whatever you need to do and don't disturb my studying. You." The class monitor probably didn't expect me to be so assertive and was momentarily stunned, speechless. At that moment, a male student sitting in the front row walked over. Wu Minghui, the eldest son of the Wu family. Also a bona fide rich second-generation heir, classmate Zoe-kon. The class monitor acted too impulsively. "I'm sure you didn't take the study materials. Since that's the case, why not let her check? It'll only take a few minutes, and then you can continue studying." Wu Minghui flashed what he thought was a charming smile and lightly patted my shoulder. I looked up at him, a deep-seated resentment flashing in the depths of my eyes. With so many people in the class, why check mine first? Stop pretending to be the good guy here. This hypocritical man was also one of the main culprits back then. In my previous life, I was falsely accused of stealing a classmate's study materials, and he was the only one who stood up to speak for me, because of that trivial matter. I even held a favorable impression of him all along. Who would have thought everything he did was just an act? Classmate Zoe-kon, I'm saying this for your own good. There's no need for you to harbor such resentment. Is there? Wu Minghui still wore a smile on his face, maintaining what he called the demeanor of a wealthy family. "Sis, maybe you should take a look. At noon after school, I think I saw you alone in the classroom for a long time. Maybe you really took the wrong one." Kira-kon finally spoke. As soon as these words were spoken, The classmates, unaware of the truth, immediately cast suspicious glances at me. I sighed helplessly, abruptly stood up, walked to Kira-kon's desk, and pulled out a notebook from her desk compartment. Then I threw it to the student who had lost the notebook. "Take a look. Is this yours?" She picked up the notebook, glanced at it, and nodded. "After school at noon, I saw classmate Kira-kon take your notes without permission. You should keep such important things safe in the future to avoid them being stolen again." "Zoe-kon, you're framing me. You must have deliberately put the notes in my bag." Under the scrutinizing gazes of the classmates, Kira-kon shouted at me in frustration. I leisurely returned to my seat and pointed at the classroom surveillance camera. "The footage is all recorded. Should we retrieve it and show everyone?" Kira-kon lay on the table, sobbing quietly. Under my gaze, the class monitor also awkwardly returned to their seat. As for young Master Wu, he remained standing, looking at me with growing interest. I nudged my deskmate who was sleeping. "What?" He lifted his head impatiently, speaking with sleepy eyes. I pointed at Wu Minghui. "This classmate is running around during class time. As the discipline committee member, shouldn't you do something about it?" The deskmate glanced at Wu Minghui, his voice icy cold. "Get back to your seat." Upon hearing this, Wu Minghui's smile vanished instantly, his temple twitching. But in the end, he didn't say another word and grudgingly returned to his seat. Speaking of my deskmate, he's quite the big shot. The eldest son of the Chu group, Bo Chu. Compared to him, the Kong and Wu families don't even rank, and even their businesses rely on the Chu family. So when Bo Chu scolded Wu Minghui, he didn't dare to utter a word. In the previous life, Kira-kon's father assigned her a task. Her studies could be average, but she had to find a way to win over Bo Chu. This is the fastest shortcut for the Kong family to reach new heights, marrying into the Chu family. Kira-kon herself is hopelessly in love with Bo Chu, so she naturally spared no effort in trying to complete the task. Unfortunately, Bo Chu has a cold demeanor, always appearing unapproachable. Kira-kon often ends up frustrated by him. This time when I transferred schools, if it weren't for the lack of available seats, Bo Chu would never have agreed to let me sit next to him. In my previous life, even though I sat next to Bo Chu for so long, I didn't exchange more than 10 sentences with him. In the blink of an eye, 2 months passed. The college entrance exams were getting closer and closer. During this period, Kira-kon found various ways to harass me several times. She even paid a junior from the same school to confess his feelings to me. Then she secretly took photos and posted them on the campus bulletin board. She made the whole school accuse me of having time to date when the college entrance exams were just around the corner. This incident became widely known and had a terrible impact. The school also called Kong's parents over. Upon learning about this, both of them expressed great disappointment in me. But I knew their disappointment wasn't about me dating before the college entrance exams. It was because the person I was dating was an ordinary person from an average family background. As I stepped out of the academic affairs office, Kira-kon, who had been waiting outside, approached me. "Mom and Dad, please don't blame sister. She made this mistake because she's under too much academic pressure. As her younger sister, I've been too neglectful of her feelings. Don't worry. From now on I'll keep a close eye on her and make sure she studies properly every day." Father Kong nodded and said to me, "Zoe, with the college entrance exams approaching, I hope you'll prioritize your studies. Matters of romance can wait until later." Mother Kong also chimed in, "Zoe, I've heard you're always picking on Kira in class. As sisters, this really shouldn't happen. I hope you'll be a sensible child and give way to your younger sister in everything." "Okay, Mom and Dad, I understand. But there's one thing I might not be able to do." I nervously twisted my fingers, not daring to look up at Mr. and Mrs. Kong. Kira-kon looked smug, probably thinking I would say I couldn't give in to my sister, and then get lectured by them again. "What is it you can't do, Mr. Kong asked in a deep voice. "It's just about the relationship stuff. That's not something I can control." "What do you mean? Come on, Zoe. Why can't you control relationship matters? If someone pursues you, just reject them." "But, Zoe, why haven't you gone back to study yet?" Before I could finish speaking, a magnetic voice came from not far away. Bo-Chu walked with steady steps and stopped in front of me under the gaze of several of us. Although wearing the school uniform, it couldn't conceal the unique aura emanating from young Master Chu. Bo-Chu, what brings you here? Are you looking for me? Kira-kon's eyes lit up, completely forgetting what Bo-Chu had just said, and took 2 steps to stand on his other side. Young Master Chu habitually furrowed his brows, squeezing me aside as he took a step back to increase the distance between himself and Kira-kon. Stay a bit further away from me. I'm not used to standing close to people I'm not familiar with. As soon as these words were spoken, Kira-kon's face turned pale, and she stood frozen in place. Seeing her reaction, I secretly smiled to myself and leaned closer to Bo-Chu, saying, "Mom, Dad, this is Bo-Chu, my deskmate, and also, hello, Uncle and Auntie, I'm Zoe's suitor." Bo-Chu cut me off, extending his hand toward Mr. Kong, pursuer. Bo-Chu's words startled both of Kong's parents, who quickly reached out to shake hands with him. "Yes, Uncle and Auntie, I've been pursuing Zoe recently, though she hasn't agreed yet, actually. This is our second meeting. You both look even younger than before. Ah, ha ha ha, you're such a sweet talker, Xiaochu. The last time we met was when we visited your father at home. How has he been lately?" "Dad is doing well, that's good, that's good." It was the first time I'd seen Father Kong speak to someone with such fawning deference, especially when the other person was just a student. "Uncle, Auntie, if there's nothing else, I'll take Zoe back to the classroom now. There are some practice questions I need to ask her about." Bo-Chu grabbed my wrist as he spoke. "Alright, that's fine. You guys go ahead with your business." Father Kong's face was full of smiles. Having long forgotten about his rule against me dating, I pulled Bo-Chu back as he was about to leave, hesitating for a moment before saying, "Dad, Mom, I've thought about what just happened, and you're right, I should focus on my studies for now. It's better for me to turn down any romantic advances." No, Zoe, don't say such foolish things." Upon hearing this, Mr. and Mrs. Kong suddenly waved their hands at me nervously. "Zoe, we were just joking with you earlier. Don't take it seriously. At school, just be as you were before. Mom and Dad support all your decisions." "That's right, Zoe. Just do things your way. We won't interfere or question you." "Really?" I asked, my face lighting up with delight. "Really, thank you, Mom and Dad. Let's go." "Bo-Chu, we should hurry back to the classroom to study." "Okay, goodbye, Uncle and Auntie. Goodbye. Take care, Xiaochu." Bo-Chu pulled me along and immediately let go of my hand once we were out of their sight. He reverted to his usual cold demeanor. That's right, Bo-Chu's appearance was carefully arranged by me. Of course, it was also by chance that I managed to get a slight hold over him. It took a lot of effort to finally persuade him to play along with this act for me. "You'd better keep your promise, or you won't be able to handle the consequences." Following behind Bo-Chu, I rubbed my sore wrist where he had gripped me too tightly, unable to resist raising my hand to punch him. "What are you doing?" Bo-Chu turned around and glared at me. His gaze was as fierce as a wild beast's. "Nothing, it's just that you pinched me too hard." I pouted and walked ahead of him. "Don't worry. 2 months is more than enough time. I guarantee you'll get into Lingjiang University." Better be true. Bo-Chu followed me into the classroom, drawing the attention of all the classmates, especially Wu Minghui, whose gaze at me was filled with aggression. After this incident, Kira-kon finally stopped harassing me. Of course, I knew this was only temporary. What happened in the past is bound to happen again. However, there's one thing that left me speechless. The car that used to pick me up after school every day was gone. Later, I found out that Kira-kon had told my parents that I no longer needed the family car to pick me up because Bo-Chu would take me home. The key point is that Kira's parents actually believed it. I can't even be bothered to explain such things. Thinking that the school wasn't too far from home, I decided to walk back every day as a form of exercise. But I only managed to do it for 2 days. On the 3rd day, the Chu family's car stopped me. Under the silent invitation of the young Master Chu, I got into their car. If Kira-kon knew that after all her scheming, Bo-Chu actually ended up sending me home, I wonder what she would think. The days until the college entrance exams are getting closer. Almost everyone in the class is studying hard. Besides reviewing on my own every day, I also have to coach Bo Chu through the types of problems that might appear on the test. From the time I've spent with him, I've realized that Bo Chu isn't as difficult to get along with as he appears on the surface. He's the type who seems cold but is warm inside, so when talking to him normally, I've also become bolder. Bo Chu, you got this question wrong again. I've explained the same solution to you several times. Can your pig brain even remember anything? This isn't quite what you described. Bo Chu scratched his head, avoiding my stern gaze. How is it not the same? You said last time, big sis. Can you be a little gentler with Bo Chu? An annoying voice cut me off. Bo Chu and I looked up simultaneously to find Kira-kon standing beside us, unnoticed until then. Bo Chu, your sister is too fierce. How about I switch seats with her and explain the problems to you instead? I seriously doubted my own hearing. Kira-kon offering to explain problems to someone else. With her level of understanding, it's impressive she can even comprehend the questions. I have no idea where her confidence comes from. At that moment, I was furious, so I stood up directly and gestured for Kira-kon to take a seat. Please, have a seat, little sister. Kira-kon didn't hesitate at all, plopping down without noticing Bo Chu's increasingly displeased expression. Bo Chu, which question are you stuck on? Let me take a look. Kira-kon tried to move closer to Bo Chu, but was coldly pushed away. Move, this isn't your seat. Bo Chu, I said move. Kira-kon wanted to say more, but under Bo Chu's terrifying gaze, she could only run back to her seat with reddened eyes. You, come back here and explain it to me again. Kira-kon sat in her seat, sneaking glances backward. I curled my lips into a smirk, then scooted closer to Bo Chu after sitting down, our faces nearly touching. Bo Chu didn't even try to dodge. Being this close made my cheeks burn, but the thought of Kira-kon getting angry gave me a rush of satisfaction. To piss her off even more, I took the hairband from my wrist and slipped it onto Bo Chu's hand. What are you doing? Bo Chu didn't refuse, just looked at me in confusion. Wear it properly. Next time you make a mistake, I'll use this to punish you. As I spoke, I pinched the rubber band and let it go, giving Bo Chu a light flick. Ah! Kira-kon's sudden scream startled everyone. She threw the book on the ground like a madwoman, twisted her body, and ran out of the classroom. The college entrance exam begins. When I saw the first test paper, I finally breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the exam papers were the same as in my previous life. Otherwise all the effort spent helping Bo Chu with the questions would have been wasted. I was extremely fortunate to be assigned to the same examination hall as Bo Chu. After each exam, Bo Chu would come over to discuss it with me for a long time. Once he confirmed he hadn't made any mistakes, Bo Chu would even show a rare smile. This made me very curious. What exactly was his reason for insisting on applying to a university so far from home? The 2-day exam is over. As expected, my results were blocked. Feeling excited, I immediately called Bo Chu. Bo Chu, have you checked your results? How did you do? On the phone. Bo Chu's deep voice came through, clearly tinged with excitement. I scored above the Lingjiang cutoff. Thank you, Zoe-kon. Really, that's amazing. Haha, I was genuinely happy for him. Zoe-kon. Which school are you planning to apply to? Me, which one do you want me to choose? The other end of the phone suddenly fell silent, and I inexplicably felt nervous. After a long pause, Bo Chu spoke. Lingjiang University. This time, it was my turn to be silent, but not for long. All right, I said. Don't go back on your word. Goodbye. After hanging up the phone, I felt my cheeks burning. My mind was racing with wild thoughts. Could it be that Bo Chu has feelings for me? Soon. It was time to fill out the college application forms. Big sis, which university are you planning to apply to? Kira-kon asked with a smile, holding her laptop on the sofa. Both of Kong's parents were present and turned their gaze toward me upon hearing this. Without any hesitation, I placed my laptop on the coffee table and filled in my first choice as Yenju University, the one closest to home. For the second choice, I selected Qingyun University, which was slightly less prestigious. Father Kong nodded in satisfaction after seeing this and said, Zoe, it seems you have a lot of confidence in yourself. This exam was really easy. If I can't even check my score, it means I must be in the top 50 at least. Getting into Yenju University shouldn't be a problem. With Qingyun University as a backup, the rest can just be random choices. Though I said random choices, my third option was actually Lingjiang University, which happens to be the school Bo Chu plans to attend. The reason I didn't list Lingjiang University as my first choice is because I knew Father Kong would never approve, but I didn't exactly break my promise to Bo Chu either, because I believe the snail maiden will always come through. Zoe is amazing, Mrs. Kong happily hugged me and asked curiously, Zoe, I've never heard of this Lingjiang University before, I just picked it randomly. Some no-name college, is that so? Maybe you should reconsider this third choice, pick one closer to home. Just in case the first two, don't worry, Mom, there's no what if I'm in the top 50, alright, it's just your mom overthinking things. What school is little sister planning to choose? I changed the subject, glancing at Kira Kon across from me, who looked upset. It's a secret. I'm going back to my room first. Kira Kon hugged her computer tightly and ran back to her room. This child, still keeping secrets. Mother Kong shook her head. Father Kong snorted and put down the book in his hand. With Kira's grades, getting into a second-tier university would be a stroke of luck. Our Kong family has never had poor students, except for Kira, old Kong. Don't talk nonsense. Mother Kong interrupted Father Kong. Father Kong also realized he had spoken out of turn, sighed, and got up to go to the study. Zoe, Mom needs to talk to Dad about something. Okay, I nodded obediently, when the two of them entered the study. I glanced at Kira Kon's room, curled my lips, and sneered silently. Without comparison, Kira Kon's parents actually had no particular expectations of her. With such a large family business, it didn't matter if she couldn't get into a good university. But with me as a contrast, while Kira Kon's parents expressed pride in me, they couldn't help but feel somewhat uncomfortable deep down. After lunch, I told my parents I was going out to meet some classmates and wouldn't be back for dinner. Upon hearing this, they seemed to guess something, showing no concern, and even told me not to come home too early. Without explaining further, I left the house. Before leaving, I left my computer on the coffee table, still open on the college application page. In my previous life, Kira Kon went to great lengths to obtain my password and secretly altered my college application, changing both my first and second choices to obscure, low-tier universities. By the time I found out, it was already too late to make any changes. Even then, I never suspected it was her doing. I always thought I had made a mistake while filling out the forms. I cried alone in my room every day because of it. This was also why I later agreed to go to a bar with Kira Kon, which ultimately led to me being raped. So this time I just left the computer with her, allowing her to make changes openly and without hesitation. After leaving home, I went to Brother Jin's restaurant. Brother Jin was happier to see me than if he'd seen his own family. That evening, he specially prepared a table full of hearty dishes in his office, saying he wanted to treat me with great hospitality. But because the restaurant was too busy, he only took a few bites before going out to help. Seeing that I couldn't finish this large table of dishes by myself, I thought for a moment and called Bo Chu. When Bo Chu heard I wanted to treat him to a meal, he arrived in less than 10 minutes. After dinner, noticing it was already 11 p.m., I hurriedly sat down in front of Brother Jin's computer. Mr. Chu, would you like to see the university preferences I've filled out? I said with a smile to Bo Chu. Bo Chu nodded and stood up, moving behind me. As I entered the password, the page displaying my university preferences popped up, clearly displayed as my first choice was Lingjiang University. The second choice was a school I had never seen before. The third choice was Yenju University. I smirked, pointing at the computer screen. Bo Chu. Today my first choice was Yenju University, and the third was Lingjiang University. Guess why it changed? Bo Chu frowned and shook his head. That's because someone secretly altered my application choices. I told Bo Chu everything about filling out the application forms. He looked at me in shock after hearing it. So you're saying you knew Kira Kon would tamper with your choices, which is why you deliberately placed Lingjiang University as your third option? That's right. As a result, She really thought Lingjiang University was some no-name college, so she put it as her first choice. Even if your parents found out the truth later, they wouldn't blame you. They'd only be mad at Kira-kon, and you could go to Lingjiang University with me without any guilt. Exactly. How's my plan? Doesn't it feel like a masterstroke? Bo-chu silently gave me a thumbs up. Zoe-kon, you're smarter than I thought. But I have a question. What if Kira-kon didn't change Lingjiang University to the first choice, or if she never intended to alter your application at all? What would you have done then? I shrugged. If she didn't change it, I'd just do it myself. There's a computer right here, isn't there? After changing it, I'd pin the blame on her. The outcome would be the same. Bo-chu suddenly took a step back, his gaze now carrying an unreadable expression as he looked at me. Seeing his reaction, a mischievous impulse suddenly stirred within me. I smiled and stood up, pressing my body close to him, tilting my head to gaze at his perfectly handsome face. No one, nothing, can stop me from going to Lingjiang University with you. You, young Master Chu, belong to me. My finger tapped lightly on Bo-chu's chest, then slid gently across it. The strong rhythm of his heartbeat echoed in my ears. Zoe-kon, do you like me? Bo-chu suddenly asked. That's not how you should ask. I shook my head. It should be me asking. Bo-chu, do you like me? Even the usually unflappable young Master Chu was flustered now, his heartbeat noticeably quickening. Under my expectant gaze, Bo-chu's phone rang. I never got the answer I was hoping for, even as we left Jinji's restaurant, but I still managed to get Bo-chu to promise me one thing. If Kira-kon ever invites him to a bar, he must agree to go. What happened at the bar was crucial. Even though I was reborn, I wasn't entirely confident I could change that terrifying outcome. I could choose not to go, or I could choose to call the police in advance, but neither of those was what I truly wanted. What I wanted was to make Kira-kon pay, to have her willingly leap into the abyss I had prepared for her. On the third day after my volunteer application was altered, I sought out Kong's father alone. Today, he was the only one at home. Kong's mother had been dragged out shopping by Kira-kon early in the morning. Though they called it shopping together, in reality, Kira-kon had just taken a walking ATM out with her. In the study, Kong's father looked at the computer I handed him. His face filled with anger. That's too much. He slammed his palm on the desk, shaking the teacup so hard it nearly toppled over. Dad, you were the ones who watched me fill out the application, so there's no way I could have made a mistake myself. Tears welled up in my eyes, and as I blinked, they streamed down the corners of my eyes. I know, there's no need to guess who did this. Kira is far from being as capable as you, and she doesn't even know her limits. It seems I've been too lenient with her, which is why she dares to do something so reckless. Dad, why would my sister do this? Changing my college application doesn't benefit her at all, I asked, wiping away my tears. The reason is simple. Jealousy. She's jealous that you're better at studying, more capable, and smarter than her. Ultimately, she's jealous that you're the true heiress of the Kong family. Father walked to the window and continued in a somber tone. If she dares to tamper with your application now, she'll dare to do even more outrageous and extreme things in the future. It seems I need to reconsider her future plans. I stood quietly by, listening and nodding in agreement in my heart. Zoe, Dad also bears responsibility for this matter. I will definitely find a way for you to attend Yenju University. Father Kong looked at me with eyes full of guilt. Perhaps only at this moment did he truly regard me as his own daughter. Dad, actually going to Lingjiang University isn't a bad idea. It would be better for our family. How so? Bo-chu also applied to Lingjiang University to get farther from home. Really? Yes, he told me himself. Leaving the study, I felt refreshed and clear-headed. As I left, I asked Father Kong not to bring this matter to light or punish Kira-kon before I went to school. I was worried that Kira-kon might do something even more outrageous under extreme pressure. Father Kong thought it made sense and agreed to my request. Afterwards, I told Father Kong that I planned to volunteer at the orphanage before school started. Father Kong initially didn't want to agree, as he had intended to send me to the Kong group for some practical experience. But upon learning that Bo-chu would be volunteering with me, he decisively changed his mind, claiming it was to respect my decision. And so, I began leaving early and returning late every day. Doing meaningful work alongside Bo Chu, Kira Kon completely let loose, playing wildly outside every day and often staying out all night. In the past, Father Kong would have severely criticized her for this. But now, Father Kong doesn't discipline her at all, though it's unclear how he plans to shape Kira Kon's future. If things continue like this, Kira Kon is pretty much doomed. Bo Chu and I both received admission letters from Lingjiang University. Because Lingjiang University is located at a high altitude with thin air, so Bo Chu and I discussed and decided to go there early to adapt to the life there. But before that, I still have to wait for one more thing. I deliberately let Kira Kon know about receiving the admission letter. The first thing she did after finding out was to spread the news loudly at home, telling Mr. and Mrs. Kong. She said I didn't get into Yenju University but was admitted to some trash college instead. However, their reactions left her utterly disappointed. Not only did they not blame me, but they also kept comforting me right in front of Kira Kon. They even accused her of taking pleasure in my misfortune, saying she didn't act like a sister should. This dealt a heavy blow to Kira Kon's heart, and for days afterward, her gaze toward me was filled with malice. That day, she finally bared her claws at me. Kira Kon, sis, you're about to go to college so far away. How about coming to the bar to relax before you leave? Reading her message, a chill ran through my heart. The humiliating scenes from my past life flashed through my mind, but I've never been to that kind of place before. Kira Kon. It's fine, it'll be fun, everyone playing our classmates. Oh, by the way, young Master Chu will be coming later too. She sent me a screenshot of her messages with Bo Chu. Bo Chu had accepted her invitation. Alright then, send me the address, I'll head over now. Putting away my phone, I took a deep breath. What was coming would come eventually. But this time, the outcome might disappoint Kira Kon. By the time I arrived at the bar, Bo Chu was already standing at the entrance. After briefing him on a few things, we entered the bar one after the other at staggered times. Indeed, everyone there was a classmate. Kira Kon's lackeys, along with the class monitor and young Master Wu, were all present. To avoid raising Kira Kon's suspicions, Bo Chu and I sat on opposite sides, barely able to see each other in the dim lighting. Come on, classmates, let's toast once everyone is here. Cheers, cheers, sis, come on, let's have a drink together. It's rare for us to go out and have fun, so let's drink freely. Zoe, let's clink glasses too. Wu Minghui had somehow sat down beside me and started frequently clinking glasses with me. I pretend to drink every time, but actually pour it all out next to the sofa. In the dim and noisy environment, no one noticed at all. Kira Kon also clinked glasses along the way, eventually moving beside Bo Chu. Under the occasional strobe lights, I saw Bo Chu's face looking extremely grim at that moment. He never liked noisy places to begin with. He wouldn't have come to a place like this if it weren't for me. Naturally, he paid no attention to Kira Kon's toast, sitting there coldly instead. Frustrated, Kira Kon eventually walked around the table and squeezed in next to me. Sis, let me pour you a drink. Come on, let's have one together. You too drink. I'm going to the restroom. Wu Minghui got up and left. Everything was just like the previous life. Kira Kon somehow produced a bottle of liquor that wasn't on the table and poured me half a glass. In my past life, it was after drinking this that I instantly became drowsy. Then, on my way to the restroom, I was dragged into a private room by a few strangers, just as they were about to assault me. Wu Minghui happened to burst in. Like a god descending from heaven, he effortlessly took down those men in a few moves. Looking back now, I must have been drugged, otherwise. How could I have believed Wu Minghui took them down so easily? Later, he took me to the guest room upstairs and gave me a glass of water to drink. After drinking that glass of water, I felt unbearably hot all over and kept wanting to take off my clothes. By then, I had already sensed that something was wrong. But it was too late. Wu Minghui stripped off all my clothes and pounced on me like a demon. After he violated me, I regained some clarity, just when I thought it was all over. Wu Minghui actually called over those men from the private room with a single phone call. In an instant, countless vulgar words echoed in my ears. Waves of excruciating pain coursed through my body. gradually causing me to lose consciousness. In the end, I died in a wretched state in the guest room. Returning to this moment, I stared at the wine glass in my hand, trembling uncontrollably. I looked toward Bo Chu in the distance. He was watching me too. With him here, it should be fine. I comforted myself in my heart, holding the wine glass. I suddenly tilted my head back. Only half of the wine was drunk, while the other half spilled on my clothes. Ah, sister, what are you doing? It's all over me. Kira Kon was sitting close by and also got wine spilled on her, while she was adjusting her clothes. I secretly picked up the bottle and poured some of the tainted wine into her glass. At the same time, I grabbed the original bottle from the table and quickly poured myself half a glass. Sorry, sis, I drank too fast just now. Come on, let's have another one. Which bottle did you pour from? Kira Kon looked at my glass suspiciously. I pointed at the questionable bottle of wine and said, this one. Only then did Kira Kon break into a smile, raising her glass to clink with mine. In the end, both of us harboring our own thoughts, we secretly watched each other finish the wine. After drinking, seeing that Kira Kon was about to pour me another glass, I quickly moved my cup away and waved my hand in refusal. Little sister, I can't drink anymore. My head is spinning. With that, I leaned back on the sofa and pretended to sleep. Seeing this, Kira Kon didn't insist. As she didn't seem quite right herself at the moment, she swayed her head to the music, her gaze gradually growing hazy, exactly the same as what happened in my previous life. Within minutes, she wobbled to her feet. I opened my eyes and called out to her, "Hey, where are you going?" Kira Kon waved her hand vaguely, mumbling, "I need the bathroom, I'll come with you, I need to go too." I supported the increasingly groggy Kira Kon as we headed to the restroom. When passing by the private room from my past life, my gaze sharpened. Fighting through the dizziness and discomfort, I forcefully pushed her inside. Afterward, I held onto the door of the private room. Only when I heard the disgusting remarks from inside did I sneer and continue toward the restroom. I guessed correctly. These people were called by Wu Minghui, and they didn't know Kira Kon. I had no idea what was mixed into that drink. My current condition wasn't much better than Kira Kon's. The bathroom just a few steps away felt impossibly far to reach. Just as I was about to collapse, a pair of strong hands steadied me. Chu, Bo Chu, Millimeterham, take me, upstairs, to the guest room. Bo Chu booked a guest room, and the room number is 318. I remember in the previous life, Wu Minghui booked room 317. After placing me on the bed, Bo Chu didn't leave but sat quietly by the bedside, watching me. Although my body was weak and exhausted, and my mind was foggy, my consciousness remained remarkably clear. Looking at his handsome face, I suddenly remembered what happened that day at Brother Jin's place, and my body instantly felt a bit feverish. This was a physical heat, not induced by any drugs. As if possessed, I reached out to him and said, "Hold me." Bo Chu grabbed my hand, hesitated slightly, then lay down beside me and pulled me into his embrace. I closed my eyes, feeling his body warmth, and my heart is unusually at peace. I trust Bo Chu's character. I'm not the least bit worried he would do anything to me. At most, it would be, in my drowsy state, a scorching kiss explodes on my lips. That's all. The next day, I was awakened by the sound of sirens. I bolted upright in bed, recalling everything that had happened the day before. "I'm awake," the sudden voice startled me, and I only relaxed after seeing it was Bo Chu. "Yeah, what happened outside?" Bo Chu handed me a cup of hot water and sat down beside me. "It's Kira Kon. She was raped by Wu Minghui and a few strangers." "Rape?" I widened my eyes in shock. "What about her? How is she?" I didn't expect it to turn out like this. I thought everything was a trap set up by Wu Minghui and Kira Kon. Since I didn't fall for it, they must have given up. But in the end, that bastard Wu Minghui, he clearly knew it wasn't me. So why did he keep going? Kira Kon had a bit of a breakdown. I saw her being taken away by an ambulance. The police were here to arrest Wu Minghui and a few others. What a coincidence. They were in the next room last night. Hearing that Kira Kon wasn't dead, I breathed a sigh of relief. Though making her endure everything I went through would have been her punishment, but I don't want her to die like I did. Oh no, what's wrong? I didn't go home all night yesterday. My parents must be so worried. As I tried to get out of bed, Bo-chu pushed me back down. I called my uncle last night and told him you were drunk and with me. He said he was completely at ease. Oh, he's really something, I muttered under my breath. Bo-chu looked at me and added, the police will probably question both of us about Kira-kon. Just tell the truth. After you got drunk, I took you to the guest room. And neither of us left for the rest of the night. Got it, got it. I obediently nodded, then curiously asked Bo-chu, last night, what exactly did we do? Bo-chu locked eyes with me, a slow smile curved at the corners of his lips. What do you think? Ahem. His reaction actually made me shy. I avoided his gaze and cleared my throat twice. How would I know? I was drugged. As soon as I finished speaking, I was suddenly pushed down with great force. Bo-chu pressed his hand against my shoulder and leaned his face closer to me. Then let me help you remember. Don't, woo. Kira-kon reaped what she had sown. After being sent to the hospital, she became delirious and started babbling incoherently. When Bo-chu and I arrived at the hospital, Bo-chu had a long private conversation with Mr. Kong. In my previous life, after I died, my soul lingered, and I witnessed with my own eyes how Kira-kon framed me, claiming that I had recklessly sought out men for wild fun and ended up dead because of it. The classmates who went to the bar with us also gave consistent testimonies. In the end, Mr. Kong, citing the family's reputation, directly suppressed the matter without holding anyone accountable. Moreover, they publicly declared that the whole incident of the Kong family finding their true heiress was just a farce, and that Kira-kon was indeed the true heiress of the Kong family. And so, not only did I die in humiliation, but in the end, I didn't even have a name to my death. This time, with a different target. Given my understanding of Father Kong, he would most likely prioritize the Kong family's reputation again, repeating the same actions as in my past life. But I don't want him to do that. Kira-kon has already received the punishment she deserved, but Wu Minghui is still at large, along with those disgusting men. They all must pay the price. So on the way to the hospital, I asked Bo-chu to help me and make sure to persuade Kong's father to pursue accountability to the end. Bo-chu agreed without hesitation, making several calls home before arriving at the hospital. I knew the Wu family was powerful, and if Kong's father truly held Wu Minghui accountable, it would be a clash between the strengths of the two families. Kong's father wasn't confident about taking on the Wu family, but the Chu family had the capability to do so. It all depends on whether Bo-chu can have a say at home. After the two finished talking, Bo-chu gave me a reassuring look. Mr. Kong's expression had also changed by then, exuding a confident and cold sternness. Zoe, since you and Xiao Chu were planning to go to Lingjiang early to get acclimated, you two should leave in 2 days. Don't let this matter interfere with your schooling. Bo-chu and I exchanged glances, silently nodding in agreement. A week after we arrived in Lingjiang, Mother Kong called me to say that all the perpetrators had been brought to justice, including Wu Minghui. The Wu family's reputation plummeted because of this incident, while the Chu and Kong families took the opportunity to seize many of the Wu family's businesses. As for the arrangement concerning Kira-kon, Father Kong still displayed sufficient ruthlessness. After all, he couldn't let go of the Kong family's reputation. Using his connections, he quickly located Kira-kon's biological parents, intending for them to take her away and care for her. Initially, the couple was reluctant to agree, as the current Kira-kon was completely deranged and undoubtedly a burden. But when Kong Fu offered a monthly living allowance of 20,000 yuan for 5 consecutive years, the two of them agreed without hesitation. Everything was settled. Leaning on Bo-chu's shoulder, I gazed at the dreamlike snow-capped mountains in the distance, feeling as if I were in a dream. Bo-chu, why are there still snow-capped mountains over there when it's clearly summer now? Because the altitude there is high, the temperature remains below zero all year round. I see. So is it the same for people? The higher they stand, the colder their hearts become. Bo-chu gave me a surprised look and pulled me into his embrace. That's right. Which is why I chose to escape. But because of you, the meaning of that escape has changed.